So the Wildgrass Messiah visiting from Ecuador, here to deliver us a lecture on living foods.
And the positive healing aspects of chlorophyll.
There we go.
That's right. I want to start with chlorophyll because chlorophyll is for me the one thing that has totally changed my perception of time, my perception of life, my perception of light, and my perception of well-being, feeling really good. So I started about 25 years ago with the wheatgrass, which people know as like growing this stuff in the boxes that tastes kind of like horrible, but supposedly is really good and does a lot of healing. And so after a few years of doing that, I came to the understanding that through meeting a bunch of other people that there is maybe a different grass out there that is way more potent than the wheatgrass, and that is the wild grass, the stuff that grows everywhere on the planet. In fact, 60% of the planet is covered by grass, and grass is the main food source of all land-based animals that are vegetarian animals. So way back in the 30s, they did a lot of experiments on this because there was this guy called Carl Schnabel, and he had these chickens that he inherited from somebody. They were like really in a poor state of health, and he went out there and he started to collect grasses and gave them and fed them grasses, and lo and behold, within a very short time they recovered their composure, the feathers grew strong again, and they totally recuperated and became strong beings again. So that led to further research, and they discovered that grass per se is an incredible food source because it is a complete protein. It has everything that the body needs. So they started making experiments and, started to sell the grass in a dehydrated form as wheatgrass tablets in the pharmacies. So, and then led to a whole bunch of other things, and they become really popular. But then after the Second World War was the whole thing of that, we were thrown into this nightmare and chaos. And somehow the chemical companies moved in, and all of a sudden they had like this pill and that pill, and the wheatgrass slowly but surely was pushed out of the pharmacies and was kind of a little bit forgotten about until some people in the 60s kind of like picked up on that thread and brought it back to life. Amongst which Ann Wigmore was the most strongest proponent, but Viktoras Kulvinskas talked about it. And so this was brought back into mainstream attention. Well, not really mainstream, but alternative mainstream, let's put it that way, where all the positive news are happening. So what happened is there's this company that created themselves by the name of Pines, and they call themselves the wheatgrass people. So they have grass growing in fields in Kansas outdoors, and that grass is then being, when it comes to the jointing stage, actually it's planted in the fall, in September sometime, and then grows the whole winter cycle, withstands the cold temperatures and grows in minimal little degrees, and then finally comes to maturity in the spring, in March, April, after it has grown 160 something days, and then it is harvested, and then part of it is juiced into this juice, this grass juice, and it tastes totally different than the wheatgrass that we know from what is sold in the juice bars, because it is really dense and rich and deeply and tastes really amazing. So this grass that they were marketing and what I learned about got me the inspiration to go for the wild grasses, because as I said, 60% of the planet is covered in grasses. So that made me think, it's like, wow, you can plant it. I mean, if I'm in Ecuador, I have grass. If I'm in Bolivia, I have grass. If I'm in Germany, I have grass. If I'm in England, I have grass. It is everywhere. It's an abundance. And people don't understand the key, and this is the spiritual side of the grass, is that it is condensed sunlight. In other words, out there in the day when the sun is streaming energy down towards our planet, the grass captures that energy through a process known as photosynthesis as energy, as chlorophyll in the leaves. So everything that is green is basically intensely captured sunlight, and that is now there present, and that's what we are feeding off from a higher level too. So it's not just like the physical nourishment, it's the spiritual nourishment too. Because the grass, believe it or not, is the bridge to the heavens, because the heavens are created out of light. That means it's a very high light vibration. So when you start drinking this green juice, and I'm not referring to the stuff that is called wheatgrass in the boxes per se, I'm talking about the grasses in general that have been outdoors, capturing the sunlight, are growing out of the earth body, are connected to the earth. This stuff has information stored in it in form of this light energy. So when we start drinking this light, we're all of a sudden tuning into a higher frequency of being and existence that is constantly going on 24/7, independent of us recognizing it or not. So my job is to bring your awareness to this, because I've been playing around with this for like a quarter of a century, 25 years. And today morning I had a liter of green wildgrass juice, and this is what gives me my energy, my focus, my purpose, and all of that, because I feel totally connected to the universe. Being a fractal of a higher being that came down into this flesh form to communicate ideas, visions, and thoughts that are coming through me. Okay, so now I'm here in London for a short moment, and next week I'll be in Brussels, and I'll be in Hamburg, and then I'll be in Paris, and I'll be in Barcelona, and wherever the Spirit carries me. So I'm not locked into a life like most of you people unfortunately are, which is like a day-to-day job that a lot of people are doing because they have to pay the rent and all of this stuff. Well, that's all part of a huge program that has been established over a long time to keep us boxed in as slaves to this energy system, which is the fake gods, which is the gods of Saturn. And this is what I learned through an incredible visionary guy by the name of George Kavasalas. So our real love energy and light energy is coming from the sun, okay? And the sun created the biodiversity on this planet. All of the stuff that's going on here on this planet is absolutely unique in its genetic potential. So these beings, these fake gods in the disguise of Saturn, created this artificial light, and this artificial light is connected to every ring of Saturn. That means every ring represents one of the chakra systems. So whenever we are working and activating the chakra system, they're receiving energy through us. They're basically using us and feeding off us our energy, because we're not empowering ourselves in the heart, which is the heart energy, but we're using the mental energy. And the mental energy is what these people are feeding off. So if you look at our society, and if I look, for example, at the societies in South America, one distinctive point I always notice is that there's more heart energy present there. These people are more like, really like embracing each other as people that are like, have similarities, and that they're all one. This idea about one is really way more present there than here, okay? So here it is very much like compartmentalized, let's put it this way, right? It's like you have your reality, and you're all distant from each other, but we're all the same anyways. It's like the drops of the ocean are all part of the ocean, but we're individual drops. Now to go back to that, the chlorophyll for whatever amazing thing on the color green is the 0 point in the chakra system. It's the heart chakra, okay? It's like the 0 point I referred to. You know, they got these scales where they have like the extreme acidic level and the extreme alkaline level, and in between is the 0 point, and it's the heart, and it's green, all right? So anything green is a positive, uplifting vibration and will bring you positive life experiences and information at the same time, because it is condensed sunlight. Light from the sun captured by the grasses, the plants, the nettles, and then accessible to us through ingesting it, consuming it. Now, if you look at the world that we live in today, one of the major things that's missing in the diets of people is the greens, okay? And what is missing too is the connection to the heart. So here's the two components that are kind of like separated and yet could be together if people start understanding that through the chlorophyll they're actually getting access to the heart energy too. And this is what this is all about. Because when we're coming into the heart energy, we're coming in tune with our higher self, our true essence of the reason why we chose to be here today in this flesh body, which is just a temporary vehicle for our spirit to express itself, express visions, ideas, thoughts. All of that comes through the heart. The mind is being programmed for thousands of years. I mean, anybody of you who watches television is subjecting themselves to a program, and that program is to a certain standard, because those people who are running the show, the cabal, let's put them, these people that are really powerful people, they don't want us to wake up. So they will do anything to stop us to become these gods that we really are. And this process is called apotheosis. Human becomes God. And we have all of this as a fractal in us because we are the universe inside. Inside of us lives a fractal of the universe. So people are not aware of this because they're reading the newspaper, and all the news they are really getting is old news from yesterday that are worthless. But the real news is in the food that they eat. Then they eat cooked food, so the information that was in the food because before it was cooked is gone. It's kind of erased, like you erase, delete something on your computer disk. The information is gone. So the only way you can really understand this and you can come into the life and into the light and into the now is by eating living foods. There's no other way. There's no shortcut. People who are eating cooked foods today are stuck in the past. They're upholding an old paradigm that has no future whatsoever, that's totally done, that's cooked. It's past. You will never get to the now, what's really going on in the universe with the sun, the information that's been streaming down to our planet. If you're eating cooked foods, you're totally clueless. You have no idea what's going on. Okay, and then you are managed by a whole bunch of people who have no clue either because they're eating cooked foods. So it's like cooked foods, cooked foods, cooked foods, cooked foods, information. There's no truth in any of that. It's all dead. It's dead sludge that plugs up your system. It's going to make you sick. Then you have to go to the doctors. The paradigm continues. Then you go to the doctors. What's the doctor going to tell you? Not to drink green juices or eat green foods. No! He has money to make, so he prescribes you drugs, pharmaceutical pills, right? That are supposed to help you. They ain't ever going to help you, okay? Forget about that approach. These people all ended up in a miserable deathbed. That's all that ends with those people. Because once you start taking those chemical energies into your body, you're losing connection to nature totally, and you're losing connection to balance. And this is what this is all about. It's about balance. Maintaining, creating balance. Not too much of this, not too much of that, but balance. So, in order to achieve balance, you need to have the green foods, because the green foods are the balance point of everything. It's the balance point between acidity and alkalinity. It's right there. So if you ever lose the balance, the only thing that can bring you back to the balance point is actually the green juice. And this is what I'm sharing with you out of experience. Because I had times when I was drinking alcohol and I was at a party and had a good time, and then the next morning was not so nice, the party was over, and the wake-up was pretty heavy actually. So the only thing that resurrected me every time when I wasn't feeling good after like drinking alcohol in the night was making that green juice and drinking it, and wow, resurrection, like headache gone, bad feeling gone, everything was like wow, uplifted in vibration energy. So every time you drink that stuff, you're going to be uplifted in vibrational, your energy field is going to get an uplift, okay? Every time you drink alcohol, the energy field is going to get a down spin. So this is what's really going on. And that's how they like to control this whole programming that they have set up through the alcohol. That's why they keep the alcohol legal and the green food and the green stuff illegal, because that will make people wake up. But that's not in their favor when people wake up, because then we are not their slaves anymore. See, we're like slaves to a higher energetic program that's been enacted over thousands of years, and we have no clue about this, except for people like George Kavasalas, who has this book, and it's called Our Universal Journey. So anybody who wants to really see how deep the deception goes, I recommend to touch into this book, because it's a truthful narrative of what's really going on with us, with the planet, and where we are, and what's going on with 2012. Because the changes that we're noticing right now in 2012 are not only specifically related to the Earth, they're going onto the whole solar system. Every planet is changing, every planet, because we're uplifting. We're moving onto a new frequency level. The whole frequency level will be changed. And this is what's happening with 2012. It's the bifurcation where we're separating the good from the bad. And who cannot vibrate on that high light frequency will not make it to the next level. And that's where we're going. We're moving forward into the light. We're not staying in the darkness. The darkness wants to hold the light down in the darkness, but it cannot, because light beings will appear everywhere like me and communicate the truth. And then it's up to you to think it and understand it and then enact it upon your own will. Not because somebody told you so, but because you understood and you know which is the way to do it. And the way to do it, the easiest way, is eat living foods and drink green juices. That's the fastest way to change everything in the positive spin. Because you cannot lose, you can only win. This is the beautiful part of it. There's no losers, there's only winners, okay? So as long as we are working for the wrong gods, we're losers because we're not empowering ourselves. We're giving our power away. When we start working for ourselves, for our vision, for our dream, for which we came into this fractal experience, because we created this whole drama, this whole game, and we co-created it before we came into the flesh world. We're spiritual beings on a physical human journey. That's what we are.